Here's a question that someone sent me, and actually it was the perfect question. Some questions are a little lengthy. I get a little too much information in them, and this individual actually sent me a picture with a question, what do I do with this? Kind of something like that. And I thought, okay, I can see if I can do something. Now, I don't know if this video will help this particular individual, but it did give me another idea that might be useful for people who have a metal handrail system with either square or round balusters. You know, you might have a round pole or a square pole here, or even a rectangular shaped pole. So I think the system I'm going to describe for this type of repair can be used with either one of those methods. So first thing I want to give you an idea of is that most of these, which most I'm sure you can imagine, the poles go into the concrete. They are embedded in the concrete, and there realistically are two methods of building a stairway like this. You could build the handrail system in while you're pouring the concrete. That's not very common. Or what they usually do is pour the concrete stairway and then core drill holes. They drill holes into the concrete and then set the handrail system into those holes and then fill them with a concrete filler. So if you do have a handrail system where it's deteriorating at the bottom and the poles are starting to wiggle, then you can try to remove it with a jack or a couple of jacks. And this can be done by putting pressure on the poles. And sometimes this can be done by putting pressure on the poles and letting it set for a few hours or even overnight. And sometimes you might even be able to tap on these with a hammer. I've actually done this before, tapped on the poles with a hammer, just kind of gently tapped on them and they popped right out. So if you can do something like this, to where you can actually put enough pressure on the pipes or you have enough damage done to this and it pops out. Now, don't expect all of this, don't expect this whole handrail system to pop out in one piece and have everything intact if you're dealing with rust down here. Now, I have it all popped out in one section here, but this isn't normally how it's going to come out. So if it comes out and you have rust down here, then you will need to cut that off. If you cannot pop it out, then you will need to cut it off at the base, and it's still going to work either way. Because what I'm suggesting is that you find a pipe that is a little smaller in diameter and will fit inside of this pipe. So for example, if you can get the handrail system out, you will be cutting the damage off or the rust so that the handrail system will sit on top of the concrete. This handrail system will not go into the concrete here. It will be sitting on top of it. But at the same time, it will be going over the pipes that are, it'll simply just slip right over this. And again, this will work if you can't get the pipe out of the concrete. If you just have to cut it off, if you have to cut everything off and you can't get the metal out, then simply get a hammer and drive this in. Or if it needs to be cleaned out to where this can slip in a little easier, because don't be fooled. You could have, when metal starts rusting, it expands, and if it's not flaking off. And this could be a problem for installing some type of pipe into the ground. Now, you're going to have to drive this in as far as you can. If that hole is 12 inches, this is going to have to go in there 12 inches. And this might actually require you to use a smaller diameter pipe here. So, for example, if this is 1.5 inches and the inside diameter is 1.25 inches, then the outside diameter of this pipe is going to have to be 1.25 inches. But if it can't slide in here, then you might need to use a pipe that is a 1 inch in diameter and for it to work. And remember, these pipes can always go a little higher. They don't. I have it stubbed down here just to give you an idea of how this would be put together. But if I was going to do something like this, I would have this come up at least 24 inches because this is going to be the strength of the handrail system. So, and again, like I say in all my videos, I'm not suggesting this is going to work for everybody. Just a suggestion that might work for certain types of stairways. So after you have everything in place, you can simply slide the old handrail over the pipes. Not too difficult. And then drill a hole and put a bolt through them. Not too difficult. So this looks like an easier fix. If you don't have a welder, you don't have concrete drilling equipment, something like this just might work for you.